Chapter 703, The Deadly Doll Quartet. It starts in the middle of the city. I was walking home from the mall with some bags of clothes in my hands and I heard some commotion. I turned and saw the kids standing in front of an ice cream truck furious. Me, uh-oh. I go over to see. Me, what's going on here guys? Sid, major price hike. The Jolly Ollie man is charging $20 for a scoop of ice cream. Me, $20 for ice cream? Sid, well rum raisin is only $15. But he wants $30 for cookie dough. Me, that's horseshit. I'll talk to this guy. Arnold, can you hold my bags for me? Arnold, sure JD. I handed them to Arnold and I went up to the Jolly Ollie man and grabbed him by the shirt and braced him up against his truck. Me, you have a lot of nerve depriving these kids of their ice cream, you wacko. Jolly Ollie man, so? Me, these kids love ice cream and they need something to cool down from a long day. You better start selling some ice cream to these kids at a fair price, you fucker. Or face my wrath. Jolly Ollie man, taunting, you can't do anything. You're just a kid. Me, oh I'm more than just a kid. Loud crunch. I need him in the crotch with devastating force and everyone winces from it. I went over to the truck and lifted up with my super strength. Me, free ice cream for everyone. I dump all the boxes of ice cream out and the kids took them. Gerald, that was amazing JD. Harold, yeah the Jolly Ollie man deserves this. Me, glad to help guys. As for you Mr. Jolly Ollie man, I grab him and lift him up. Me, you don't deserve to be a worker in anything, ever. Plus I just don't like you and I really hate your guts. You make me sick. I think a nice long stay in one of our strongest maximum security prisons is what you need for the rest of your miserable life. Welcome to your worst nightmare. My eyes glowed red and he looked into them and he was in the malevolent insanity world. He saw his worst fears come to life and his mind was being damaged beyond all form of repair as he saw the kids from all over the area attack him and it completely drove him further into insanity. My red eyes looked down on him and were watching him slip further into madness and more. In the real world, I snapped my fingers and beamed him to the Saturn Insane Asylum maximum security section for 150 years without the possibility of parole. The kids all cheered for me. Harold, that guy deserved it. He hated us kids. Stinky, southern accent, he never liked us not one darn bit. Me, well now one of us will take over his position. I have just the person in mind. I called Bobby and he gladly took the job. Later I continued my walk home and I heard someone call me. PSST. Me, I heard someone call from down an alley. In here. I went into the alley and I saw a figure in the shadows. It was wearing a black fedora hat and a black trench coat and kept his face hidden. I have something for you. Me, who are you? It was a girl's voice. Deep Drama, my name is Deep Drama and I have some information for you regarding one Billy McLean. Me, what information do you got? Deep Drama, Billy McLean, twin brother of Total Drama host Chris McLean. He's worse than what you could have imagined. Deep Drama handed me a book and it was a rap sheet over 600 pages thick and it had all the crimes that Billy McLean did over the entirety of his career on international television. There was also a photo album containing pictures of all the crimes he did over the course of the 6 seasons of Total Drama, all for his own selfish and sick amusement. Me, this is horrible. Deep Drama, you just gave us the one key variable we need to make sure that Billy McLean goes to prison for the rest of eternity. Thank you. Deep Drama, you are welcome. Me, who are you by the way? Deep Drama, you'll find out who I am in due time. But I will give you a clue. I'm gonna be on Total Drama Galaxy. Me, that's cryptic. But thank you. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. I went back to the estate and I looked over the rap sheet and the photos and what I saw was absolutely horrible. made all the contestants jump off a huge cliff and into shark-infested waters for a challenge, and humiliated DJ, Beth, and Courtney by forcing them to wear chicken hats because they refused to jump. Season 1 Episode 1 forced both the Screaming Gophers and Killer Base teams to not get any sleep for over 87 hours for a challenge he called the Awake-a-thon. Season 1 Episode 3 doesn't tell Beth about Boney Island causing her to steal a tiki doll and get her team cursed. Season 1 Episode 8 allowing Harold to outright cheat by falsifying his teammates' votes to wrongly eliminate Courtney, which he meant as revenge against Duncan. Season 1 Episode 10 when Eva and Izzy return to the island after being previously eliminated, Billy says that when he claimed that eliminated contestants could not come back, ever, he reveals that he lied. Season 1 Episode 15 sending Lindsay home for being the last person to cross the finish line in the bicycle race, when she came in right after Heather and the other people didn't finish the race at all. Season 1 Episode 18 forcibly eliminating Lashana because the other eliminated campers kept saying her name while trying to vote someone else out, not meaning to vote for her, and counting multiple votes from a random parrot in the room. Season 1 Episode 22 in the Total Drama Island ending where Gwen wins the competition, Billy forces her to relinquish her winnings to instigate a scavenger hunt for $1 million, which ultimately ended up leading to the second season, even when she flat out refuses the offer. In Owen's ending, Owen willingly accepts the extra challenge. It is implied that this had been his intention from the very beginning, meaning that the entirety of Total Drama Island was in fact completely pointless. Season 1 Episode 27 in the Total Drama World Tour episode Walk Like an Egyptian Part 2, Billy had sent flesh-eating scarab beetles after the contestants. A few crawled onto an intern serving as a leg stand for Billy and they ate him alive into just a skeleton in less than 10 seconds. Chris responded with laughter and apathy, actively encouraging the beetles to kill the contestants. Doesn't send Chef his paycheck on Episode 2 of Total Drama Action. He brings Gwen up to his viewing room and makes her watch Trent be eliminated just to make her feel bad in Total Drama Action. He dresses up as Steve the Yeti, and tells Jeff and Bridget that they stink on live TV in Total Drama Action. Putting itching powder on the cast's pizza makes them study all night, then he literally makes them believe they are going to die by a fatal disease in Total Drama Action. During the challenge, Owen has broken his jaw due to throwing a book. He gives the Killer Grips the win, even though the Screaming Gaffers got to the finish line first. When the cast could possibly die from a flooding submarine, he only cares if they survive because without them, he won't get paid in Total Drama Action. Sets each of the stink bombs the contestants have to defuse up differently so they would all get hit by the stink bomb in Total Drama Action. Hires Owen to cause drama between the remaining contestants in Total Drama Action. It is implied he murders a parrot for biting him in Total Drama Action. Makes fun of Chef and how bad his cooking is in the finale when Chef wants to leave due to how Billy treats him. However, he does redeem himself, and apologizes to Chef and says how much he needs him. Shows Beth's greedy side to the cast to lessen her chances at winning the $1 million in Total Drama Action, although he may have done this to make the chances fair, as he did show Duncan's nice side as well. In the first episode of World Tour, he informally eliminates Ezekiel for no reason other than him being annoying. Treated his interns like actual slaves in the Egypt challenge and caused the death of one of the interns by neglecting to help him when he was being eaten alive by scarab beetles. Declaring Team Chris is really hot, which it goes without saying was named as such to flatter him, the losers in the London episode even though they successfully found Jack the Ripper and had won the challenge as he instructed it to them, just because Team Amazon happened to find Duncan. The result of this was Noah's unfair early elimination. On several occasions during World Tour, he abruptly announces that the episode does not have an elimination after telling the contestants the opposite throughout the challenges and even having them vote. In more than one of these instances it is implied that Billy had not even planned this but is making up the rules as he goes along. Billy deliberately broke the bathroom door's lock at the time of Gwen and Duncan's adulterous kiss, allowing Tyler to witness it and later revealing it to Courtney and everyone else, incurring her recklessly brutal wrath against them. Throughout this entire series of events and the prolonged drama following in its wake, Billy makes it clear through his behavior that he has no empathy for any of the involved parties, and rather enjoys seeing them fight as much as ever for the sake of ratings. Breaking the rules of the contest and declaring Sierra eliminated even though she had won the day's challenge and had invincibility, due to her accidentally destroying his plane. If Billy had not done this, Alejandro would have been eliminated then and there instead. Imprisoning the badly burned Alejandro in a crude Darth Vader knockoff mechanical body for the sole purpose of having him sign a waiver absolving Billy and the show of responsibility for his injuries, and laughing at Alejandro's despair of being told that the money has been destroyed. In Alejandro's ending, he declares Alejandro the winner of Total Drama World Tour just because Heather accidentally threw the wrong pineapple dummy into the volcano, even though she had clearly defeated him. In Heather's ending, she throws her own dummy in the volcano and wins. Dumping toxic waste in Camp Verwanakwe. Forcing eliminated contestants to ride a catapult in Total Drama, Revenge of the Island. In the first episode of Season 4, Owen appears, oblivious to the fact that he and the rest of the real cast are no longer competing, and Billy responds by putting an explosive on his face and detonating it, sending him flying away. Gives the mutant maggots the win, just because they blew up the toxic rat's cabin, even though they clearly won. Caused Stacy to lose her hair and suffer minor radiation poisoning after she got voted off because Billy handed her the toxic marshmallow of loserdom. Confiscated Sam and Dakota's electronic devices, putting them in tech withdrawal. Even Scott thought that was harsh. Forced Sam, Brick, and B to admit embarrassing secrets about themselves on international television and had them press poorly wired buttons, electrocuting them for the sake of a challenge while threatening to have them and their teams submerged underwater and be at risk of being eaten by a mutant shark named Fang. In Finders Creepers at the campfire ceremony after the mutant maggots lost the challenge, due to Chef went missing, it was a non-elimination episode and he feels disappointed that no one is going for a catapult ride. After Dakota has done her deed, he hurls Dakota again for the second time since it's not worth it, since she's an intern. He forced Dakota to go into a highly irradiated mine for over 40 minutes, which not only caused her to lose her hair but transform into a mutated monster in the next episode. He also made the contestants go into the mine for the sake of a challenge but gave them special indicators to let them know how long they were in the mine. He buries Gwen and Sam alive in a chest. At the end of the 4th season, he attempts to detonate a bomb he planted on the contestants' departure boat for no reason. However, the bomb is removed by Chef and put under the dock right under Billy, blowing himself up and landing him in the water as payback. Forcing eliminated contestants to be flushed down a gigantic toilet in Total Drama, All-Stars. Putting Gwen on the villainous vultures and Courtney on the heroic hamsters even though Gwen is a hero and Courtney is a villain. Making Sam's team forfeit the pancake eating challenge and caused his unfair early elimination, even though he was being organized for exile duty. Making Cameron switch to the villainous vultures team instead of letting him quit the competition to escape from Sierra's affections. In one episode of the 5th season, he did a rigged wheel game, and as Gwen spinned, he purposely made the wheel land on Courtney so that they would fight each other. Not to mention that Billy showed Courtney videos of Gwen making out with Duncan, causing Courtney to get mad just as their friendship was finally started to work out. Making Cameron take the flush of shame with his injuries instead of taking him to the hospital. Forgot to feed his interns, so he thought of a challenge where the contestants had to make ice cream sundaes by going through hazardous areas. Later, rather than actually giving the interns the sundaes, Billy decided to make the contestants eat their sundaes instead, thus not feeding the interns again, though he was appalled when he discovered that Courtney was planning to feed the interns a nasty sundae. In the season finale of Total Drama All-Stars, Billy had the previously eliminated contestants trapped into giant fart balloons. Zoe was able to free Gwen and Cameron and Mal freed Heather and Alejandro. Billy forgot to tie or pop the balloons, causing Lindsay, Lightning, Joe, Sam, Sierra, Duncan, Courtney, and Scott to fly away in the air. However, they are confirmed to be alive and unharmed. He also allows Chef to sink Camp Verwanakwe into Lake Verwanakwe. Using eliminated contestants as human cannonballs in Total Drama, Podaitu Island. Eliminating Amy in twinning isn't everything despite Sammy getting the most votes. However, this could have just been a mistake, as Amy and Sammy are identical in appearance. It was a part of Jasmine and Sammy's plan to get rid of the real Amy. Unfairly eliminating Ella simply for singing too much even though her team won the challenge. This is the pits. Since both teams lose the challenge, he forced for an elimination ceremony which he mostly wants to, and it's even not worth it since neither of the teams won. Making Chef burn the reward since neither of the teams completed the challenge properly. Put the contestants in a challenge that involved eating juggy chunks that expired almost 40 years ago, which caused them to undergo heavy nausea and vomiting and caused all of them except Sean and Jasmine to undergo a zombie-like trance. In the same episode, he also taunts Dave about being rejected. In the finale, he crosses the moral event horizon by turning Dave against Sky by repeatedly showing him Sky's audition tape, which revealed that she still had a boyfriend back home. Geez. Billy is much worse than what we first thought. Nico came in. Nico, what did you find out, JD? Oh hey Nico. I was given some information to bring Billy to justice when the time comes. Nico, really? I just got back from catching a Blausheiken and a Septal. But what did you find out? Let's get everyone together. We did so and everyone gathered and I revealed everything I was given by Deep Drama, and what they saw was absolutely horrifying. Gwen, whoa. Billy is that dangerous? Lashana, I knew something was messed up when he did all those torturous challenges. Don, Billy McLean is one evil man. I knew something was wrong when I saw his aura. What color was his aura, Don? Don, it was all black and loaded with pure evil. That is bad. Duncan, but I can't believe that Billy is much worse than me. Sammy, or Amy, Heather, and Maria, and all the sore losers combined. Owen, what Billy did makes him the worst host ever known in the history of the world. Ezekiel, you got that right at? And he forced me to turn feral when he threw me out of the plane. Katie, I can't believe that Billy is that dangerous. He's beyond pure evil. Sadie, how can a monster like him even be allowed to host on television? Zoe, I don't know. But this monster needs to be stopped or else someone on Total Drama Galaxy is gonna get killed. Yet. And we will spring our trap when we do the TDG Aftermath show. Billy McLean will pay for his crimes in full. Not just in blood but for the rest of his miserable life in prison. Chris, you got that right, JD. My brother is really dangerous and he has to be stopped. Chef, not only that but look at all this. Chef Hatchet came in with a wheelbarrow full of a huge pile of letters. What's all this, Chef? Chef, this is all hate mail. And it's all directed at Chris. Chris, and I didn't do all those things to these guys. We looked over the letters and what we saw was horrible. Most of the hate mail from the fans of Total Drama was all death threats and some were packages containing bombs. We got rid of those packages quickly. So Billy is also out to ruin the entirety of Chris' reputation. Chris, yet. Billy has hated my guts ever since I was 5 years old and he can't stand me and he hates me with a vengeance that defies all logic. That is absolutely sick. Lincoln, the last episode of Total Drama will be the final nail in his coffin. Lucy, you got that right, Lincoln. I may enjoy the darkness but Billy McLean has gone too far with all this. I agree with Lucy. I want this monster brought to justice. We can't let this creep hurt people with challenges that are too dangerous any longer. Everyone, yet. We have until March of 2020. This'll give us plenty of time to set up everything we need for our trap. We're gonna set the stage for when he admits his crimes on all of international television all over the planet. Bridget, Billy McLean is going down. Topher, oh yet. And it'll be on Total Drama Galaxy. Well said, Topher. You have a great hosting career ahead of you. Topher, thanks, JD. You're welcome. We have a lot of work to do. Let's do it. We got to work on how we were gonna take Billy McLean down. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. In Retroville, Jimmy was working on some of his old inventions. Jimmy, rebuilding his past inventions. I really have to thank Lisa for helping me take out the flaws in these past inventions. You forgot about one invention, Jimbo. Jimmy turns to see who just spoke. You. But you're supposed to be, is knocked out. Jimmy was taken somewhere. Back at the estate we were thinking up ways to take Billy down. Me, we have planned to take him down by exposing his crimes on international television. Cindy then came in and she was frantic. Me, Cindy, what's wrong? Cindy, hyperventilating. He kidnapped. Me, whoa. Calm down, Cindy. Calm down. Take a seat and relax. She does so, that's better. Now tell us slowly. Cindy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. A living ventriloquist dummy named Flippy has kidnapped Jimmy. We gasped. Lincoln, that's right. Carl did say something about that when we fought that clone of Slappy. Nico, that's right, he did. I remember that. Lainey, I remember that. What is Flippy? Me, let's see here. I looked it up and what we saw was shocking. Flippy got on Judy's nerves after Hugh spent all the grocery money on him. Much to her pleasure, Jimmy was forced to use him as firewood to launch the monster strapped to the rocket in Attack of the Twonkies back to Twonkos 3. Later, Flippy reappeared in the episode of the same name as Flippy 2 that looks exactly like the original. Jimmy put a funny chip into Flippy to improve Hugh's jokes. But since the chip was connected to the brain, Flippy came to life by slowly starting to steal Hugh's brain, leaving him a mindless zombie. Jimmy was able to defeat Flippy and turned him back into a lifeless puppet, thus returning Hugh back to normal. But at the end of the episode, it was shown he might still be alive. Me? Wow. Nico, Flippy looks like a combination of several dummies. Me? Yeah, he looks like a combination of Chucky, Scarface, and Slappy all squeezed together. Nico, my thoughts exactly. Luan, as Mr. Coconuts, he would not make a good friend for me and Edo. Eddie, as Edo, no he sure wouldn't. Luan, I would not like this dummy. Me neither. No offense to Mr. Coconuts and Edo. Luan, as Mr. Coconuts, none taken. JD. Eddie, as Edo, none taken. Me, let's see where Jimmy is. I used the satellites to find him and he was in an abandoned coal power plant that was shut down on the outskirts of the town. Me, there. And there's a dark orb there. Team Loud Phoenix Storm, let's fly. We set out for the abandoned coal power plant. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Retroville, abandoned coal power plant. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. At the abandoned coal power plant on the outskirts of Retroville, Batman was facing Flippy who had Jimmy tied up in a chair. Batman, you better let him go now, you filthy puppet. Flippy, I can't do that, Bats. You see, I need him as bait. Batman saw Scarface, Slappy, and Chucky in the shadows. Scarface, you really don't want this fight, Bats. Slappy, yet, pointy ears. You've got no idea who you're messing with. Batman glares at them funny. I was about to say the same thing. The three evil dummies walked out of the shadows to reveal that they had black fire auras. Chucky / Satanic Butcherer, Batman has a shocked look, still feeling brave now. Brucey? Flippy walks out of the shadows with a heartless symbol on his chest, sorry about the mess. When Jimbo and his friends sent me to that dump, they didn't give me some toys. But thanks to this dark orb, I'll have all the toys in world now. Then a massive fiery explosion blasted through the ceiling of the factory and a phoenix cry was heard and we arrived. Me, Bruce. I didn't expect you here. Batman, same to them. We turned and saw 4 familiar dummies. I saw Flippy. Me, so you are Flippy. Nico saw Slappy and he was shocked. Nico? Slappy. Lewin and Lincoln saw Chucky and they was shocked. Lewin and Lincoln, Chucky. Batman. And Scarface too. Lois G. I thought I killed him. Me. They were brought back to life because of a dark orb. Robin. TT, this reminds me of the time we fought the Puppet King. Me. I remember that, Robin. That was a fierce battle. When the Teen Titans were sleeping, the Puppet King infiltrated the Titans' hideout. He managed to extract the souls of Robin, Beast Boy, and Cyborg and place them into his puppets. When he attempted to extract Starfire and Raven's soul, Raven used her magic, causing the Puppet King to drop his controller. When that happened, Starfire and Raven's souls went into opposite bodies. They managed to escape the Puppet King, leaving the others. Since they were opposites, Raven and Starfire had to learn from each other and team up to rescue the boys. Just when the Puppet King about to finish the Teen Titans, Starfire and Raven arrived just in time. A battle waged on, only to cause the Puppet King to drop his controller into a fire bowl. This caused the Puppet King to become a lifeless puppet and all the Teen Titans to return back to normal. The Teen Titans kept the Puppet King as evidence. Later, however, the Puppet King was somehow brought back to life and recruited into the Brotherhood of Evil. He appeared in the race initiated by Ding Dong Daddy for Robin's most secret possession as one of its villainous contestants, but was taken out in a mass crash triggered by Red X. When the Brotherhood executed its plan to eliminate young superheroes around the world, the Puppet King assisted Control Freak in capturing Kilowatt. During the subsequent assault of Beast Boy's team on the Brotherhood's base, the Puppet King confronted Moss, who slammed him right into the next wall. Subsequently, when the Titans united for their final fight, the Puppet King joined his fellow villains in defeat. Flippy, look, fellas. More playmates. Satanic Butcherer, smirks at Maria, dibs on the water girl. Chuckles evilly. Work Evan, sets his repulsors from stun to kill, not on my watch. Gangster of Greed, takes out a Tommy gun, take your best shot. Kevin smirked below his helmet and shot repulsor blasts at the four evil dummies, creating holes in their chests and knocking them down. Work Evan, looks at the supposed dead villains, had enough? But the evil dummies laughed as they stood up again. Doll of Fear, jumps at him, dibs on his eyeballs. Nico punched Slappy's heartless away. Me, Flippy, we're gonna take on your friends. You stay out of this. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Battle 1, Chucky the Satanic Butcherer. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Me, Nico, Lewin, Lincoln and Poison Ivy were facing the Satanic Butcherer. Me, I thought we were rid of you for good, Chucky. Satanic Butcherer, you won't be rid of me that easily, JD. You killed me the last time. Me, you deserved it, Chucky. The novelization of Child's Play 2 goes into Chucky's backstory. As a child, Ray had a difficult life. His Irish-American mother had come from a wealthy family and was a bartender and dancer, but because she was a dwarf, other kids made fun of Ray. To make matters worse, his Austrian-American father was a raging and obnoxious alcoholic who abused him and his mother. It is implied that members of Ray's family were also murderers and seed of Chucky when he tells Glenn that killing has been in the family for generations. This might be where Ray got some of his psychotic personality traits from. Ray apparently went to a man named John Yosef Bishop, also once known as Dr. Death, to learn about voodoo magic as to find a way to cheat death, although John was unaware of Ray's true motives. At some later point, Ray met and befriended Daniel Pierce and was introduced to his family, his wife Sarah, who was pregnant with NICA at the time, and his daughter Barbara. Ray fell secretly in love with Sarah and wanted the two of them to be family. At some point later, he murdered a woman named Vivian Van Pelt and stole her $6,000 ring for unknown reasons. He also met Tiffany Valentine and she became his girlfriend, though Ray did not view her as such, as he was still in love with Sarah. He also killed Tiffany's mother. One night, Ray found Daniel walking home and offered him a ride home. At some point he managed to subdue and drown him. He later attended his funeral along with Sarah's family. He later kidnapped Sarah and held her in the basement of a building, possibly the same apartment building located at 730 Stony Island Avenue on the south side of Chicago. He revealed his true motives to her and everything he did to her family, now believing himself to be part of the family. At some point Sarah managed to gain access to a phone where she dialed 911. The police showed up to the building and Ray realized what happened. Enraged at Sarah's snitching to the cops about us, he stabbed Sarah with a voodoo knife, the same one used later by Chucky, in the stomach. This caused Nika's paraplegia, paralysis of the legs, later after she was born. From there the Child's Play film series unfolds. Grace Poole mentioned in the second film that Ray murdered a total of 12 people during his killing spree in Chicago, despite only having 3 confirmed victims and only one is actually seen on camera. In Cult of Chucky, NICA mentioned she read about Ray having murdered 22 people before he was killed by the police. One night in Chicago, Ray is being chased by the police Sarah had called earlier. Among the officers involved in the chase is Detective Mike Norris. He tries his hand at shooting Norris but misses, and he is shot in the foot by him. He sees his partner, Eddie Caputo, in the van up ahead and limps towards his direction, but Norris calls his partner, Jack Santos, to chase the van. Ray is then forced to hide behind a wall, despite his attempts at calling his partner to wait for him. Missing Norris with his gun again, he is told to give up and surrender. Cornered and unable to go anywhere, Ray takes cover inside a toy store, and is soon fatally shot by Norris in the chest. Before dying, Ray removes his trench coat, swears vengeance on Norris and Eddie, and continues to hide from him. He begins to lose his balance and leans forward on boxes of good guy dolls, knocking them down, and uses a voodoo ritual to transfer his soul into one of the dolls. The store is then struck by lightning and it burns to the ground. Norris presumes Ray died in the explosion. Later that morning, 6-year-old Andy Barkley tells his widowed mother, Karen, that he wants a good guy doll for his birthday after watching a TV commercial about it. Unable to afford the full price, Karen buys a stolen doll from a street peddler named Hector, which is the same doll Charles Lee Ray had earlier transferred his soul into. That night, as Andy is playing with the doll, who has introduced himself as Chucky through the talking feature of the doll, Karen's friend, Maggie Peterson, who is babysitting her nephew Andy, scolds him for turning on the evening news and placing Chucky in front of the TV. When Andy tries to tell Maggie that he did not put Chucky in front of the TV, she does not believe him. Maggie is then viciously struck with a toy hammer and falls out of the apartment window, falling several stories below to her death. The killer's identity is left ambiguous. Andy, when questioned, insists that Chucky has revealed himself to be alive and that he killed Maggie, though he defends Chucky's decision by stating that Chucky told him that Maggie was a real bitch and that she got what she deserved. The next day, Andy, apparently upon Chucky's request, visits the house of his accomplice Eddie Caputo, missing school in the process. Chucky is revealed as being alive. He sneaks into Eddie's house and blows out the pilot light on the stove and turns up the gas. Eddie, in panicked self-defense, fires his gun and the house explodes, killing him inside. Later, authorities place Andy in a psychiatric ward after he is found near the crime scene. Karen believes the doll to be the true culprit after she realizes that his batteries had never been put in, and she threatens to throw him into the fireplace unless he reveals himself to her. Chucky comes alive in her hands, bites her on her forearm and runs out of the apartment. She contacts Detective Norris, who is now investigating Maggie's death. Although he initially doubts her story, Hector, the homeless man who sold Karen the doll, confirms that he retrieved it from the burnt-down toy store where Charles Lee Ray was killed. Detective Norris becomes a firm believer after he is attacked by Chucky in his car and survives only by shooting the doll. He had attempted to strangle him, forcing Norris to drive recklessly, and stab him with his knife. Suffering a cigarette burn to his cheek and a gunshot wound, Chucky begins to question himself why he was bleeding following the attack. Chucky later meets with John Yosef Bishop, his voodoo instructor from years past. and asks why his gunshot wound bled. John, under torture via voodoo doll, informs him that his body is slowly becoming that of a human's and he will soon be trapped in the body if he does not transfer his soul into the body of the first person he revealed himself to, which is Andy. Offhandedly remarking that he will get to be 6 years old again, Chucky stabs the voodoo doll in the chest and leaves John to die. Karen and Detective Norris, following leads from Charles Lee Ray's case file, find John as he lays dying and receive instructions on how to kill Chucky. Although Chucky is a doll, his heart is fully human and vulnerable to fatal injury. Chucky kills the head doctor, Dr. Ardmore, while Andy escapes from the psychiatric unit, now aware Chucky is after him. The authorities believe Andy killed the doctor while escaping. Mike and Karen rush back to the apartment hoping that Andy is there. Chucky reaches the apartment where Andy is and knocks him unconscious with a baseball bat before beginning the same incantation to steal his soul. Karen throws him away as she and Norris check on Andy, only for Norris to be stabbed in the leg by Chucky. After a prolonged struggle, Chucky is thrown into the fireplace by Karen and is lit on fire by Andy after he throws the lighted match in the fireplace. He tried pleading with Andy that they were friends until the end, but Andy told him this is the end. Andy and Karen, thinking Chucky is dead, go to help the injured Mike Norris. After Andy gets the first aid kit from under the sink, he discovers Chucky is gone. Very burnt but alive, Chucky chases after Andy and Karen, who barricade themselves in the bedroom. Karen shoots him several times, missing his heart, but scattering his head, an arm, and a leg in the hallway. After Norris' partner, Jack, arrives, the scattered doll parts attempt to attack under the instructions of Chucky's screaming, severed head. Karen, remembering John's last words, tells Norris to shoot Chucky in the heart. Norris does so and makes a direct hit, killing Chucky, again. An ambulance arrives to take Norris to the hospital. Karen and Jack help him walk out the door, but Andy stays and looks over the burnt remains of Chucky. Karen returns and leads Andy out of the room and turns off the lights. Andy turns to look at Chucky one last time before leaving. 2 years after the events of the first film, Play Pals Toys repaired the burned Chucky doll, insisting that there was nothing wrong with it, while Andy is sent to foster care due to his mother being sent to a mental hospital for psychiatric evaluation for backing up Andy's testimony on Chucky. When the workers at Play Pals rebuilt Chucky manually, the dreaded Lakeshore Strangler was revived. Later that night, Chucky was being taken home by the CEO's assistant, not knowing that Chucky was truly alive. When he received a call from his girlfriend asking if he remembered the vodka for their 2-week anniversary, he replied with a yes, hang up, and angrily drove to the liquor store. When he got out of the car, Chucky got the phone and called the orphanage and asked if Andy was there. They said no, but also asked who he was, which he replied this is his uncle, Charles. When the man came back to the car, irritated that gold cards were never accepted at the liquor store, he was attacked by Chucky. Chucky forced him to park the car, where he killed him with a plastic bag. Chucky found his way to Andy's new home, owned by Phil and Joanne Simpson, and destroyed Andy's Tommy Good Guy doll with Joanne's China figurine. The figurine was destroyed as well in the process, which resulted in Andy and his foster older sister, Kyle, getting grounded. That night, Chucky had successfully fooled Andy into making him thinking he was Tommy, which allowed Chucky into his bedroom. There, Chucky had tied Andy to the bed and literally put a sock into his mouth. He began the ritual to place his soul in Andy's body, but was interrupted when Kyle began to crawl in through the window after sneaking out for a date. She began to untie Andy, but did not believe his story of Chucky. Andy, with his newly freed hand, punches Chucky off of the bed. Joanne and Phil arrive, and Phil takes Chucky to the cellar. The next day, Chucky followed Andy to school, where he wrote profanity on Andy's test paper. The teacher, Miss Kettlewell, believed it was Andy who wrote it, and kept him at school for detention. There, Miss Kettlewell had found Chucky and locked him in the closet. Andy, knowing where Chucky was, escaped through the window and made his way for home. Not long after, Miss Kettlewell returned to the classroom, where she noticed Andy was missing. She heard a noise from the closet, and assumed that was where he was. She opened the door and searched everywhere, but was ambushed by Chucky and was beaten to death with a yardstick. That night, Andy went into the cellar with an electric knife to kill Chucky. He searched everywhere, but was attacked by Chucky, who began to bite his ear. Chucky was hit in the side of the head with the knife, and made an escape by hiding behind the stairs. Phil began to slowly walk downstairs, attempting to calm Andy. Unfortunately, Chucky found a harpoon and used it to dangle Phil from the stairs. He released Phil, who fell to his death. About an hour later, Chucky had murdered Joanne in her bedroom and was now using Kyle to drive him to the orphanage, where Andy was living once again. Kyle had stepped on the brakes, making Chucky shatters the window and falls out of the car. He was on the hood, but Kyle stepped on it, making it harder for Chucky to hold on. She once again stepped on the brakes, forcing Chucky to fly off the car and hit a fence. She attempted to ram him, but got out of the way just in time. She got out of the car and found Chucky on her shoulders. Kyle took Chucky to the orphanage, where he pulled the fire alarm. Kyle and Andy were taken to the matron, Grace Poole's office, who was killed by Chucky. Kyle attempted to help Andy escape, but Andy was taken away by Chucky instead. Chucky told Andy to get in the back of a truck, where he attempted the ritual a second time. He was once again stopped by Kyle, and Chucky forced Andy to flee to the Play Pals toy factory while Kyle was being harassed by the truck driver. In the factory, Chucky attempted the ritual a third and final time, and finally finished it. Fortunately, too much time had been wasted and he was trapped in the doll's body. Me, you should have stayed dead, Chucky. You kidnapped 2 of my friends and that is something that will never be tolerated. Satanic Butcherer, I was trying to get a new body out of it. Me, tell that to the 67 people you senselessly butchered and the hundreds more that you injured when you terrorized all of Illinois. Satanic Butcherer, actually it's 81 plus, but who's counting? Me, well, whatever. You don't have a single shred of value for human life and for that you will die again. You're going back to hell where you belong, you fucked up fuck. Nico, Charles Lee Ray aka Chucky, you have failed this world. Me, more like he has failed everything. You're an animal, Chucky. A fucked up monster. Lewin, you kidnapped me and Lincoln, and now I will have my revenge. Lincoln, same here. Me, people like you make me sick just looking at you. I went at the Satanic Butcherer and kicked him in the face and he went crashing into a shutdown heater. He got out and yelled and went at me and stabbed me in the leg. Sheen. My poisonous blood splattered all over his face. But to my surprise it didn't burn him. Satanic Butcherer, wipes off my blood. Your blood doesn't really hurt me anymore, Knudsen. Me, that's okay. I have plenty of new tricks up my sleeve. Lewin fired a blast of light from and it hit the Satanic Butcherer and exploded, and Lincoln fired a blast of lightning and electrocuted him. The Satanic Butcherer yelled in a lot of pain. Poison Ivy, now it's time for some fun. Earth Cyber Key Power. The Earth Cyber Planet Key went into her device on her arm, and deadly vine tentacles with flower mouths that drip concentrated sulfuric acid from their mouths formed out of her back, and they were ready for blood. Me, let's get this freak. Nico fired a blast of lightning at him and it electrocuted him, and the vines from Poison Ivy bit the Satanic Butcherer and melted his arms off. Lewin and Eddie fired a massive blast of light and completely obliterated the Satanic Butcherer into dust. Chucky was forever sent into the river of fire. Me, that takes care of that freak. Never again, Chucky. Never again. But the battle was not over. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Battle 2, Gangster of Greed. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Me, Nico, Batman, Lois, Ernie the Giant Chicken and Laney were facing the Scarface Heartless, the Gangster of Greed. Arnold Weskier, also known as the Ventriloquist, is a villain from the Batman series. He is always seen with the puppet Scarface. Many people believe he is crazy, and just puppeteering Scarface, but he believes Scarface took possession over him. In Detective Comics number 818, an issue later included in the trade paperback Batman, Face the Face, Wesker is murdered by an unseen assailant. The puppet Scarface is stepped on and its head crushed. The dying Wesker uses Scarface's hand to leave a clue regarding his murder, a street name. Later in the storyline, it is revealed that Tally Man, acting as an enforcer for the Great White Shark, is responsible for the murder. During the Blackest Night crossover, Wesker is among the many deceased villains that received a Black Lantern power ring and is reanimated into a Black Lantern. Using his power ring, Wesker creates a construct of Scarface made of black energy. He is shown murdering many police officers. In the New 52 continuity, Arnold Wesker is now living, his death apparently erased from reality in the DC universe. He appears in Batman, The Dark Knight number 2. Implied to be in possession of the Venom steroid, he clashes briefly with Nightwing. Scarface is a villain from the Batman series. He is not a human, but a puppet. He is being controlled by the ventriloquist. The ventriloquist believes that the puppet controls him, because it is possessed by the souls that died beneath the tree from which he was made. Most people believe the ventriloquist controls Scarface, and uses Scarface to commit his crimes. Gangster of Greed shoots at Batman to know why you're okay with taking me out, Bats. Aren't you always about that no-killing crap? Batman, for your information, I accepted that scumbags like you need to die after Jason Todd was killed by the Joker the first time. Me, that's right, you gangster fuck. You make me sick just looking at you. Nico, Scarface, you have failed this city. Lois G, that's right. I killed you, you oversized talking toothpick. Gangster of Greed, that's right, Toots. You all did kill me. And now I'm gonna return the favor. Ernie, I don't think so. Animatron Cyber Key Power. The Animatron Cyber Planet Key went into his device on his wing and a powerful multi-rocket launcher popped out and a jetpack appeared. The rocket launcher fires eggs that explode. Batman kicked the Gangster of Greed into the air and Lainey slashed him in his face with her vines. Gangster of Greed, I know this is cliche but, say hello to my little friend. Fires Tommy gun at Batman. Batman dodged his shots. Lois blasted the Gangster of Greed with a minigun. Ernie fired numerous eggs and they hit the Gangster of Greed and exploded. Crab boo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hum. The Gangster of Greed was dead and went into the river of fire. Me, we're not done yet. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Battle 3, Doll of Fear. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Me, Nico, and Lori were facing the Doll of Fear. Slappy was originally created by an unnamed evil sorcerer. Alongside Mr. Wood, Slappy was carved by the sorcerer out of the cursed wood of a stolen coffin. After Mr. Wood was destroyed at the end of Night of the Living Dummy, this resulted in Slappy becoming twice as evil. Slappy takes the form of a ventriloquist dummy but is granted life, threatening everyone around him and becoming more of a threat as the series progressed. The only way to make him live is by saying the following incantation: Guru Mary O'Donnell Loma Maloon Nukurano, said to me you and I are one now. Written down on a business card, he keeps the spell in his pocket. Almost every new owner reads out the spell, causing the electricity to act strange for a few seconds. Slappy keeps himself quiet, as the new owner finds out strange things are happening in the house. Furniture gets moved, things disappear, and reappear. He has a behavior of a very naughty child, or a poltergeist. He also has the ability to change people into ventriloquist dolls with his green breath. With this breath, he also can animate other dolls and puppets. He is blown into pieces in the Goosebumps television series, in episode 3, Night of the Living Dummy. However, Slappy still survived that. In Slappy's Nightmare, the streets of Panic Park and the dummy meets the mum and he is an anti-hero. He also appears in the Horrorland series and Most Wanted where in the Son of Slappy he finally wins. He also has his own series called Slappy World where is the narrator of the series and sometimes the main villain of some books. He also appears in the comic book series as the main villain of the first arc and set to appear in others. He appears in the first story arc Monster at Midnight as the main antagonist leading the monsters to attack two sisters, and later appears in the second arc Download and Die, where he teams up with the creeps to antagonize three young girls. Slappy also appears in the short story crossover Gaslight, Slappy the Ventriloquist Dummy vs. Aloysius Pendergast, where Aloysius Pendergast, the protagonist of the book series of the same name, fights off Slappy. I got hit in the face with a pretzel. Me, ow. A pretzel? Doll of Fear throws pretzel at Lori. You like human pretzels, hey? How about actual pretzels? Doll of Fear screamed as he saw us eating the pretzels. Me, delicious. Got any cheese sauce? Nico, I'm not afraid of you anymore, Slappy. You may have tormented me back when I was younger, but I'm not afraid of you anymore and never will be again. Doll of Fear to Lori, hey, Blondie. I think you're pretty. Pretty ugly. Laughs evilly. We all gasped at what he called Lori. Me, oh fuck. Nico, Slappy has not only failed this city, but he just signed his death warrant. Lola, you call Lori Ugly and she will destroy you. Lana, oh yeah. Lila L, he really asked for it. Lori had her face down and her anger was rising fast. And I'm not talking about any ordinary anger. I'm talking about level 12 anger. A volcano exploded in the background with a tremendous explosion. Crab, I am. Lori, enraged, screaming, what did you just say, you motherfucking freak? Doll of Fear, ugly. Ugly and you will never be beautiful as me. Me, boy, he just really pushed her button big time and he's miles down shit creek. Nico, this guy is really fucked up. Lincoln, he asked for it big time. Lori then went ballistic. Lori unleashed her level 12 anger out on Slappy and she was going crazy on him. Think of how Ren killed that horse in the infamous episode of Ren and Stimpy's adult party cartoon. Ren seeks help but 100 times worse. Bobby and Nico grabbed her. Nico, Lori. Stop. He's dead. He's done. Bobby, babe, calm down. Lori then stopped, and when she saw what she did to Slappy, she hugged Bobby and broke down crying. But regardless, we beat the Doll of Fear and sent Slappy into the River of Fire. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Battle for Flippy. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. We all were facing Flippy. Me, you're gonna pay for everything you've done, Flippy. Very and Eddie freed Jimmy. Very, are you alright, Jimmy? Jimmy N, I'm fine. Very. Eddie, that Flippy must have really cost you a lot of trouble. Jimmy N, I should have never put that chip in Flippy in the first place. Very, it's not your fault, Jimmy. Let's finish this freak off and get rid of him for good. Jimmy N, right. Nico, sees the heartless symbol on Flippy's chest. Flippy, you're a heartless now, aren't you? Me, let's do this. Combo and final smash time. Skydive, you got it. Wild Rider, me and Poison Ivy will start us off. Cyber Key Power. The Velocitron Cyber Planet Key went into Wild Rider's back bumper and enhanced his speed, and he drove at 1,000 miles per hour. Wild Rider and Poison Ivy, blazing acid speed smoke. Poison Ivy fired streams of sulfuric acid at the flames on the road as Wild Rider set the road on fire with his sheer speed. The fire burned blue and burned Flippy and was eating at him. Edzilla punches Flippy. Ed, smash stupid dolls. Skydive, now it's my turn. Cyber Key Power. The Earth Cyber Planet Key went skydives his negagun and it enhanced it so that it can destroy all objects at the subatomic level. Ernie the Giant Chicken, let's get him. Skydive and Ernie the Giant Chicken, Disintegrator Egg Bomb Barrage. The eggs hit Flippy and exploded, and the disintegrator blast hit Flippy and destroyed his clothes, revealing the dark orb embedded in his chest. Sheen, it's final smash time. Ultra Lord Slamforce. Sheen formed a barrage of holograms and they were all the Ultra Lords he loves and they slammed into Flippy and exploded. Crab bohohohohohohohohum. Pinocchio. My turn. Never tell a lie. I ate a sandwich made of tuna. Pinocchio's nose grew to the length of a spear and it skewered him all the way through him and it destroyed the dark orb and the funny chip. Nico. Flippy, you have failed this whole universe. Lainey. Time to deliver the ultimate fatal blow. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers theme song plays. Lainey called forth the weapons of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Lainey. Mastodon Power Axe. Mastodon Trumpets. Lainey turned the axe into a gun. Lainey. Pterodactyl Power Bow. Pterodactyl screeches. The bow fused with the gun. Lainey. Saber-toothed tiger power daggers. Saber-toothed tiger roars. The daggers fused with the blaster on the bow. Lainey. Triceratops power lance. Triceratops bellows. The lance fused with the blaster. Lainey. Tyrannosaurus power sword. Tyrannosaurus roars. The sword was placed on top of the blaster. Go go Power Rangers. Lainey. Taste the power of the Power Rangers. Lainey fired the blaster and 5 blasts fired out of it and combined into a focused blast and it hit Flippy and he fell down and exploded in a ball of fire. Crab bohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohohoho good. We cheered wildly. Me, nice shot Laney. Luna, that was awesome Lanes. Lincoln, that was awesome. Bobby, that was an awesome shot little sis. Nico, I agree Bobby. That was awesome. Laney, thanks guys. Vince, I'll say. Good show. Carol, that sure was awesome. Flippy was defeated and his insult comedy was gone forever. Sheen, to the viewers, this was awesome using a final smash and I have a feeling we're gonna be doing many of them. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. The next day I was challenged to a race by a Dodrio trainer named Dario and he was way ahead of me. He was a total jerk and wants nothing more than to see my friend Lara Laramie lose a race. But my Rapidash was much faster than he thought. It was a really close and then I crossed the finish line first. Me, way to go Rapidash. Rapidash won and I left Dario in the dust. We stopped and everyone cheered wildly. Dario, you cheater. Me, you're the one who cheats you freak and you are nothing but a sore loser. Dario, I'll kill you for this. I fired a shockwave blast at Dario and it sent him crashing into a tree and Rapidash bucked and kicked the Dodrio high into the air and I threw a pokeball and caught it. I walked over to Dario and grabbed him by the shirt. Me, cowboy voice, looks like you're headed for the last roundup my friend. I threw Dario in jail for attempted murder and assault and battery. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for 50 years. But I wasn't the only one having a race. Stacy and Rachel were having a swim race in our swimming pool. Rachel of the Animorphs was a shark and Stacy was in her street shark form. They were neck and neck and in the end Stacy won. Rachel, Animorphs, and Stacy just reverted back to human. Stacy, nice race. Rachel, smiles thanks. Stacy, stomach growls. Why am I suddenly getting a craving for fish? Stacy, laughs. That's what happens when you revert back. Let's go get some grub. It was a good day. The end. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Another fanfiction complete. This chapter had several parts. The first part was based on the Hey Arnold episode Heat. That episode was about a nasty heat wave ravaging the city and it was like Phoenix, Arizona at 116 Fahrenheit outside. You would fry in that kind of heat. The kids all went crazy because of the heat and it has been known to have a notoriously dangerous effect on the mind and causes people to do crazy things to cool down. The reason I put the Jolly Ollie man in prison is because I just don't like him and he was a rip-off artist and he deserves to be sent to a maximum security insane asylum. I got the idea for the whistleblower part from the Fairly Odd Parents movie channel Chasers, where Tootie was dressed up like the famous whistleblower Deep Throat, who provided the Washington Post with important incriminating information about the Watergate scandal back during the presidency of Richard Nixon. Tootie dressed like that to show how bad that Vicky is. But this mysterious deep drama will be revealed in due time when we do the Total Drama Galaxy saga. All those crimes that Chris did on Total Drama were practically the worst ever. He tortured and humiliated all the contestants on Total Drama to destroy and kill them. What a jerk. The third part is for where we fought Flippy, a ventriloquist dummy that once belonged to Jimmy's dad, and Judy Neutron was annoyed that he got Flippy instead of groceries. I think Hugh Neutron has a brain as big as a pea. Almost non-existent. I got the idea for the fourth part from the Pokemon Season 1 episode called The Flame Pokemon Athon, and it was awesome. Plus I hate that guy Dario for hurting Laura. Not only that, but today is 2019's Kentucky Derby, and if you have a favorite horse, be sure to root for them. So I got the idea for the race for that as well. Also Nico-chan11 gave me the ideas for this one. Thanks man, as always. Let me know what you all think. See you all next time.